If there was a button that I could have pressed to just end everything, to just wipe it all, I would have pressed it. I'm a son, I'm a brother, I'm a boyfriend, I'm a friend, and I'm also an addict. When I really think about where my head was at from a young age in primary school and whatnot, I always felt like I'd walk into a room and instantly I wasn't liked. I grew up in a lovely home, I had everything that you could really want, but on the inside, I felt very empty, and I felt very alone. Anxiety would be the biggest thing, that's my biggest challenge that I've had in life, especially panic attacks. That really, my whole life kind of consumed me, and I found that really, really difficult. That's why I kind of turned to drink as almost like, this is the elixir that I need now. Like every time I go out in any form of social situation, I feel I have to get drunk right now in order to be able to talk to people and be confident and be the person that they want me to be, That led me to obviously start experimenting with drugs as well. We were all just kind of like smoking joints essentially, and I remember I had this weird feeling that I wasn't in reality right now. Like I was like, this isn't real what I'm going through right now. I'm in a dream world, and I couldn't really focus on anything. And my heart started pounding. Like it started pounding like so rapidly, and I couldn't really control it, and it scared the crap out of me. So I went to college, partied throughout college. I gritted my teeth and I was able to get that college degree. After 4 years, I got my hands on the degree and I thought I'm gonna be fixed now. And I still felt the exact same. I still felt so lost and alone. And I said, maybe when I get a job, maybe I'll get my first job. Maybe my financial situation is what's causing me this pain. I got a job, started making money, still felt the exact same. Still felt so lost internally. I thought I was going to be stuck like this for life because I had no idea what was happening. Is this literally my life now? That's when my drinking and drug taking got really bad. Obviously drinking a lot, but then like lots of cocaine, lots of ecstasy, and then towards the end like sleeping tablets, because I couldn't handle how I felt after a weekend long bender. I'd need to take something to kind of like literally kill that anxiety and that fear. So I ended up eventually checking myself into a treatment center. My last drink, I was almost in a psychotic episode. I was on a lot of drugs as well. But I just wasn't even myself. My dad even said it. My dad said, I've never, ever seen anyone like that before in my life, the way you were. I don't remember it, it was complete blackout. Like I don't remember a thing, but I've heard about it. And that's the worst thing, that other people had to see that. At least I don't have to remember that, but other people had to see it. And I think, that's definitely the lowest point that someone has seen me. A lot of people have seen me in the past in horrendous states. Obviously, when I think back, there's a lot of shame, a lot of embarrassment about it. I remember I got out and there was a pink cloud for about 3 months. And after 3 months then I started to realize hang on a second, I'm still feeling how I used to feel. I'm still feeling down, I'm still feeling anxious. And I remember just thinking, what's the point? Like, why have I given up all that, all the drink and the drugs that were causing me harm to still feel like shit? Like, why? Like, what's the point in this? That was probably the lowest point. That was that was literally, I didn't want to live anymore. And I remember one guy said, do you want to meet for a coffee? And I said, yeah, no worries. So I met him for a coffee. And he could just see it in me. He could see in me that I was in no way happy in my life. And he said, Conor, this is like the life you live today. You've gotten sober now, and you're meant to be out there enjoying life and doing things with your life. And I'm looking at you, and you don't do anything. You just stay at home all day, and you don't try to socialize. You just spend all your time on your own. And he's like, would you think about joining a club of some sort, something that interests you? And I was thinking, yeah, I might as well. I'll think about it. So I went back and I started doing a bit of research on things, and I was trying to think, like, what do I want to do? Like, what do I enjoy doing? And I actually joined the gym. I was lifting weights and stuff like that, trying to look good, thinking, well, once again, all external. If I can look good, I'll be happy. I enjoy the cardio aspect of exercise. So I started researching, and I was like, I wouldn't mind taking on a challenge as well. I could do a triathlon. So I looked up triathlons and stuff. Even though I don't know why I thought that, because I couldn't swim, I didn't have a bike, and I couldn't even run a kilometer. So like, I don't know what made me want to do a triathlon, but I said I want to do a challenge. I want to challenge myself and see what I can be capable of. It's a funny story. I got into triathlon probably when I was like 25. I didn't know how to swim whatsoever. So I ended up, no, I went down to the shoreline in Greystones, the leisure centre there, to do like a swim assessment. And I did like two lengths, and the teacher there was like, yeah, you're not even good enough to be in the beginner classes, because you're like, after 2 lengths I was gassed. And then she was like, oh God, that was a tough pill to swallow. But I remember I just had to keep getting down then. Oi! I got big into cycling. I loved getting out for a cycle. And I live in Wicklow, so really good spots for cycling up around Wicklow. And I would just go out for cycles. I was working from home at the time, and I'd finish up for the day and I'd get out for a cycle for an hour, just going cycling around the place. And I'd come back just feeling so good. And I'd feeling like lit up. So we went down, we did it, and I remember after that I was like, oh my God, that was so cool. You know, there was a sprint triathlon, so the shortest distance. And I was like, that was amazing, you know, and I just felt so happy. And then we all went for food after and stuff, and it brought that social aspect to it as well, you know, and the camaraderie as well, which was another aspect which just brought me like more into the light, you know. And as the days go on, I was getting pushed more and more into the light, and I was still keeping up with things like my AA meetings as well, and making sure I was on top of talking to people on the phone and whatnot, about how I was getting on, but life started to really change and turn for the good. And I started to believe that I could do more challenges and I could take on even bigger feats, you know. And then I decided to take on a half Ironman. So I signed to a half Ironman in Cork, and I trained like as much as I could for that as well, up to my training, and you know, took on the half Ironman in Cork. And then I said, all right, I'm gonna do a full Ironman. So I did a full Ironman, signed up to that, and did that last October in Barcelona. And I remember when I crossed the finish line for that, like that was like insanely hard to do. You know, it's a long day at the office, but like after I finished it, I just felt incredible. You know, I just couldn't believe like, you know, what I've accomplished, you know. Something that I remember when I first saw what an Ironman was, I said I could never do that. Like never in my life I could do something like this. And I completed it, and you know, it just goes to show, you know, what you can be capable of when you put your mind to it and when you believe and you put the work in. You know, I haven't tattooed on me, so that probably helps to explain how much I love him. I got JoJo just after I got out of treatment, and it definitely gave me something to do with my life anyway, because like at that stage I didn't have exercise, I didn't have any purpose. It's like creating a life, do you know what I mean? That's what it was like getting JoJo. It's like you have this life force now, and you have to like look after this. It's your responsibility to make sure this thing stays alive essentially and grows old and healthy. But it's all about finding purpose, you know, and that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest game changer I had in my life, was finding a purpose and finding something to live for.